From athletes to authors, entertainers to innovators, we connect with those who help shape our culture. Join us in revealing stories of their lives and backgrounds, their triumphs and tragedies that molded them into who they are today. Authentically off script and personally illuminating, this is Audibles with Jason Scarborough. Coming up next on Audibles, Thomas Billups.
Louisville, Mississippi, that's where your story began?
That's where it began.
How would you describe your childhood growing up in Louisville, Mississippi?
Growing up, it was real tough for me.
Yeah.
You know, like I told you the other day, we had 13 sisters and brothers. I'm the baby. Had to work real hard to get what I got. You know, a lot of people don't know about picking cotton, planting mule, cutting pulpwood, and all that. It was pretty tough for me, but I was able. My coaches was able to bear with me. I had to miss some days out of school, but at that time I was playing baseball, I played football, and I also ran track. So it was pretty tough for me. I missed practice sometimes, but I would make it up.
You say it was tough for you. It was tough for you because of the
because
work
I had to work.
Yeah.
I had to work and go to school also. Because my mom and dad, like I told you, my mom, she only finished 10th grade, but she one of the smartest ladies you ever want to find. My dad wasn't real educated, but we made it, you know. We had to work hard, but we made it.
Is that kind of how you would describe the people of Louisville at the time? Hardworking? How would you describe the town at the time?
Well, most of the kids that lived in the country, you know, the kids that lived in the city, they had it pretty good. But the people that moved in that stayed, most of the black kids that stayed in the country had to work, and they had it real hard at that time.
Youngest of 14, so you got away with everything, right?
No, hey, I had to do everything. I had to work just like they did.
How would you describe yourself as a child, young Thomas Billups?
Well, I was pretty tough now.
Yeah.
I was rough. I used to fight almost every day. And if somebody beat me up, I had to fight him till I beat him. So that's just the way I was.
What was your relationship like with your siblings? I mean, the youngest of 14, were they kind of like parents? Was it kind of this?
You know, I didn't have to worry about anything, but I had to work. But they took care of me. I had one brother named Howard. He really took care of me. Everywhere he went, he carried me with him. So that's how I grew up around him. He taught me mostly everything I know.
You guys stayed close.
Right.
Was there something not involving sports when you were growing up that you said, hey, that's what I want to be when I grow up? Was there something not involving sports?
I tell you, I probably was in that community. We had a summer baseball team. And I probably was one of the best baseball players in that country. I mean, in that county, in Louisville, at that time. And one of my other classmates, we played on the high school team, and he always batted third, and I batted fourth. So the coach knew we was gonna get some runs if anybody got on. If nobody got on, he knew he was going to get a run out of Royce or myself.
So baseball was a big part of your life
yeah.
early on.
But people don't know that. A lot of people don't know baseball is one of my best sports.
Huh.
I played football, played quarterback at the high school. Pretty good. Made all conference in baseball. Went to East Central, played baseball and football.
So when did basketball start kind of showing up on the radar?
Basketball started. I was playing a little basketball too, but I wasn't that good now. But I just play all the sports. Basketball came around when I was on the team. I think I was ninth grade, and I might have been one of the best one on there that rebounding now. I wasn't that tall, but I rebound, and one of my coaches got me one day and took me in the gym and taught me all about basketball. And I said, well, I might just, I kind of started liking it then. So I said, well, I just do all three of them. And that's when I started playing all three sports.
So when that coach took you in the gym, do you think that's maybe when the light bulb or some of the seeds were planted, maybe be a coach later on?
Yeah,
or
well,
no?
to sport, to start playing more than one sport, that turned the light on for that. But now my high school football coach is the one that, and I had a math teacher also. His name, Mr. Hemphill. That's my math teacher. And my football coach was Mr. Hudson, Harold Hudson. I tell you what, I always wanted to be like him. He was tough. I tell you, he was tough on the sideline. He was tough in class. Mainly, he ran the school. So that's who I always wanted to be like. I always wanted to walk like him. I wanted to talk like him. I wanted to teach like him, and I also wanted to drive when he drove to school each day. And he was a big influence on me in coaching, not just basketball or football or baseball, just coaching, period. And if you go back and check, he coached a lot of guys that played in the NFL. So he was a good coach. And that's where I wanted to always to be a coach. I got it from him.
What was Thomas Billups like at Camille High School?
Camille Street High School.
Yeah.
Kind of low key most of the time.
Really?
Yeah. Had a lot of friends. A lot of girls friends, not girlfriend, but just friends. Kind of just everybody loved me at that school. I had one of the cheerleaders coach. She always bring me in and talk to him. Said, "Billups, you so nice." And I tried to be as nice as I could, but I had a little mean streak also. But I just wanted to do the right thing at that time because I had a hard time growing up. So, and if you live where I lived at the point and at that time, we didn't have a bathroom. We had an outside bathroom. We didn't have a refrigerator. We had an ice box. Now y'all probably don't know nothing about that. So it was tough on me, but I survived, and I had to work to survive, and I know about that, and that's why at this point in time, I know what it takes to get kids to understand basketball, football, or baseball. You have to go and work, and you have to let kids know you care about them, and that's why my high school coach cared about kids. He was tough on them, but it was tough love.
So you graduate from high school, you earn your bachelor's, master's from Jackson State in 1975. Your coaching career starts at Vicksburg High School in 1976 as an assistant boys basketball coach for Vicksburg High School. So how would you describe that first coaching experience for young Coach Billups?
Well, I tell you what, it was kind of, I already had a little experience in coaching. And I always kind of got it from my high school coach. But when I graduated from Jackson State, you know you have to do your PT. So I went to Canton High School, which is the roughest school system at that time. I did my student teacher there. And the principal let me coach the 9th grade because they didn't have anybody to coach 9th grade basketball. So I started coaching there, doing my student teaching.
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network.
When life is unpredictable, choose Express Care Summerall to get the medical help you need. We're the only clinic in Summerall open 7 days a week. We also offer the convenience of drive-through accessibility and walk-ins with no appointment necessary. Our nurse practitioners Sarah Dawn Locke and Kobe Smith welcome you to our location on Highway 42 next to Fox's Pizza. Find your new primary care provider, Express Care Summerall, where your health care matters.
Wendy's is open until midnight or later, so come get that Baconator.
Give me one honk if you want a Baconator.
Hey, give me 2 honks if you want Tyler to make it.
Go night mode. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Baconator.
Family owned and operated since 1986, Lakeside Molding has become the trusted source of architectural products throughout the South. They offer fine interior architectural moldings, custom millwork, and cabinet doors designed and handcrafted in Flowwood. Their showroom on Lakeland Drive is stocked with today's most sought-after interior details, including corbels, post, fireplace mantles, bath vanities, mirrors, and much more. Tim Shoemaker and his staff work closely to meet client needs for new construction, restoration, and remodeling projects. Lakeside Molding, where details make the difference.
When you find a great community, you will find great health care. That is exactly what King's Daughters Medical Center provides. Keeping businesses moving with occupational wellness, heart-healthy screenings, diabetes education and management, community education, and remote patient monitoring that promotes better care in between regular office visits. KDMC, caring for our community like no one else can.
There's your biggie bag. All that food for $5, that's my go-to.
Ooh, that's my ride or die.
Just like you and me. Bag boys. Bag boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
You can always bet on Biggie and now earn free food when ordering on the Wendy's app.
So 4 years later, 1980, you helped lead the Gators basketball team to a state championship. But in 83, you took over the Vicksburg Junior High program. I'm going to read this to you. People love when I do this. Your 8th grade teams won 4 Little Six crowns. Your 9th grade teams win 2 Little Six championships. So early on, you're getting a taste of what your life would hold, winning championships.
Right.
Were you surprised at just, or were you not surprised at how quick you were catching on?
You know, I'll tell you. Let me tell you a story, and then we'll get back to that. I'm going to tell you I'll tell you about my math teacher. I was in his class one day, and he said, and if you know him, he was real funny, Mr. Hemphill. He said, Billups? He said, it's not too many Billups around here, is it? I said, no, sir. He said, but you ain't gonna never be nothing. That's what he said. And I said, yes, sir. And that's what got me started then. It was a motivation for me.
When he said that to you, that's what started that fire burning.
That's what started that fire to me when he said, Billups, you ain't gonna never be nothing. And I talked to him about that all the time. I told him, I say, God probably wanted you to say that to me to motivate me. And he did.
How old were you when he said that to you?
Probably 17, 18, but not even, I think I was a junior in high school.
So that lit that fire to prove him wrong.
Right, it was a motivation for me.
Well, you started proving him wrong. In 86, you make the move to Jackson, Blackburn Junior High School. Remember those days?
Right.
You had an impact on those teams immediately. 2 city championships. in 3 championship game appearances. You're there for 5 years, and then you make the move to Lanier, where you really, really made your mark.
Right.
How much did you know about Lanier before going over there and interviewing for the job?
Well, when I was in high school, we played Lanier High School in football.
Okay.
And they was tough. They were real tough. But before, at Vicksburg High, that job came open, the high school job. All of those championships that you just read out, the high school job came open 3 times.
Did you apply?
I applied for them 3 times. Then they told me that I wasn't old enough. I didn't have enough basketball experience. So I stayed there 12 years, just like I stayed there 12 years. And never had a losing season in basketball there. So as my kids were, I had a daughter, I had 2 sons and a daughter. And I said to myself, I said, I need to go. I was staying in Jackson. My wife was in Jackson, and I would commute almost every day, and I had an apartment over there. And I said, I need to try to go to Jackson to raise my kid and put them in sports. And, just like I wanted them to also play sports like I did. So I moved back to Jackson, and that's where I started at Blackburn Middle School.
So I'm going to read off some more to you. People love when I do this, by the way.
Okay.
So 91, you begin this run at Lanier that to this day is honestly one of the most impressive in all of high school athletics. You built a national high school basketball powerhouse, essentially. On your watch, Lanier appeared in 13 MHSAA state basketball championships. You captured 8 state crowns. You garnered a record of over 600 wins, 617 wins against 119 losses in a 22-year career as Lanier's Bulldogs head basketball coach. Metro Coach of the Year 6 times, 3-time State Basketball Coach of the Year winner. That fire must have still been burning, because when you hear all that fire had to constantly be burning to push you, because you hear all that now, what you accomplished in 22 seasons at Lanier. Yeah, people knew about them being tough in football, but they weren't known as a basketball powerhouse until Coach Billups showed up.
Right. That basketball program wasn't that good, but now, my mom and dad taught me. They said, son, nobody never gonna give you anything. You gotta work for what you gonna get. And I always work hard. 1 championship wasn't good enough for me. 2 wasn't good enough for me. And I just kept on every year. I just kept working harder and harder and harder. I just wasn't gonna let the fire stop. And I end up, send a couple guys to the NBA, and 17 of them to overseas. So that's what made me so proud, and that's what makes you want to work. Because when you do things for kids and they appreciate you, that's what makes you want to keep working.
I'm curious, just after hearing you say that fire that your math teacher, coach and teacher, and then your parents, just the kind of work ethic you guys had, that was the combining force in having that fire constantly burning. Am I hearing that right?
I always think about that.
Yeah.
My mom and dad, my high school coach, and my high school math teacher. And that's, I always, when I think of things and I say, maybe I shouldn't do that. But it always go back to my high school teacher and those people. So when I go to work, I go do it the best I can. It don't matter if it's basketball, baseball, or football. I try to do the best I can in all of it.
Yeah, you excelled obviously at Lanier. What a decorated career, but you always wanted to be a college coach. And,
Right.
And I remember in another interview, 2 apps put in at Jackson State, 2 apps put in at Mississippi Valley State, 2 apps at Alcorn State. And they had vacancies, and they tell you after, I mean, I almost want to call those people and say, do you need me to read this to you? They tell you that you needed more college experience.
Say I don't have college experience. But you know, it was good for me. It didn't do anything but make me work harder. All I wanted to do is win basketball games. It didn't matter where I was, high school or college. I just wanted to win. And I just wanted to, I always have it in the back of my head. When people don't think I can do it, I'm gonna do it. 'Cause I'm gonna do everything in my power to get it done.
So all that did was throw more wood on the fire.
Yep.
That's all that did.
Just made me work harder.
So, but you stay at Lanier, you continue to coach them.
Right.
And then in 2013, you leave. How would you frame up your departure and what that time was like in your life?
Well, before then, like you said, I put in an application for Jackson State, Alcorn, and Valley. And I got one interview for Alcorn and one from Jackson State. And at that point in time, when I called Valley, they said, well, if you ain't got no college experience, we're looking for people with college experience. I said, okay, fine. But, it didn't stop me from working. It didn't hurt me at all, because I knew as hard as I work and I try to do the right thing. But now, like I told you a few minutes ago, I'm tough on the court, but it's tough love. But I done took care of so many kids, and myself and my wife, we done took care of so many kids that I coached. And everywhere we go, they asking about my wife, because she loved to do that. So it didn't do anything but just make me work harder. Now you could ask me that question again. I just wanted to tell you that.
I mean, the departure at Lanier, that had to be tough, because this is a place that you gave your heart, your soul. How would you describe that time in your life?
Well, at that point in time, something kind of happened there at Lanier. Not Lanier now. I love Lanier. I would give if I had to do it over, I wouldn't do it no other place except Lanier. It was just the administration downtown. And I used to just do this to make sure we all come back together again. We used to have an old school, new school basketball game. So that means bringing all of my old players back to play my new team. So at the point in time, the superintendent that was there wanted me to pay to use the gym. And we never did that. We went over there one day to play the game on a Saturday. And we had about 300 or 400 people standing on the outside. They wouldn't let us use the gym. So the TV station, I think it was Channel 16, came up. And our superintendent was named Dr. Gray. And I called him, and he said that, well, Coach, we can't let you do it. I said, okay. And after that, I say, I done did all of this work to make JPS look good in basketball. And then I say, I can't use the gym that Dr. Sargent was the superintendent when I first got hired and started winning all those championships. And I said, if I can't use my gym, what Dr. Sargent built for me, she came and told me, because everywhere we went, if we played in Jackson or anywhere else we played, we had a sellout every night. And people were was knocking doors down at the school, busting windows out, just to get in the game. So I said, if they don't want to let me use the gym, and I done did all this for JPS, for Jackson, Mississippi, and Jackson Public School System, I said, it's time for me to leave because they don't appreciate me. So at that point in time, that's what happened.
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network.
We believe patient-centered care is where it all begins. That's why King's Daughters Medical Center ranks nationally in patient care and safety. Our staff's commitment to better healthcare means a higher quality of life for so many. We are one team, one heartbeat, one mission to provide this community with the high-quality healthcare. KDMC, caring for our community like no one else can.
For those on the go, we give you Audibles with Jason Scarborough, the podcast.
What are we listening to? Are we listening to a playlist? Are we listening to a podcast?
What a great question.
Listen to our intimate interviews with guests on your favorite podcast platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Music, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and so many more.
Do you ever look back and say, my life, the story could have ended up differently had it not been for your grandparents?
Incredibly different, for sure.
Plus, you'll hear behind-the-scenes commentary on each guest, interview preparation, location, and so much more from Jason himself.
Do you have a favorite Coach Bowden story that you can share with us?
I can tell you this, what you see with Bobby Bowden is what you get.
Check out Audibles with Jason Scarborough, the podcast, on any of these popular podcast locations and hit subscribe, download, and enjoy. Now, back to the show.
So you leave Lanier, or that was hard, and you coach a year at Oak Grove High School. Good experience for you. I've heard you talk about that. And finally, you get a chance to prove yourself, and nearby Tougaloo College hired July 2014. So when that moment finally came, that moment you'd finally been waiting on, how would you describe that moment?
The best feeling because I always wanted to be a college coach. It was the best feeling when they told me, it was the best feeling that I ever had, because that's what I always wanted to do, coach at the college level.
And Tougaloo, the Lou as they call it.
Yeah, the Lou.
What was the reception like when you finally became the head coach? Do you remember the press conference, the reception you got and everything? Do you remember that?
I tell you what, we had, now the people at Lanier High School, they knew about the interview that I had with Tougaloo. So during the conference, when we had the conference, there were more Lanier fans there than Tougaloo fans.
Wow.
And they still come to the game. All of my fans and let me just say something about Lanier fans, and I know the best you ever wanted to see. You couldn't find no better fans than Lanier High School. And they was there with me at Tougaloo. And it was in my first game, the athletic director said there was more money at that one game that he made all year the year before.
You didn't waste any time getting things started at the Lou. During the 2018-2019 season, you guys go 28-5 overall, 12-2 in league play.
Right.
Captured the 2018-2019 GCAC regular season and tournament championships. and you earn an automatic bid to the NAIA tournament. That same season, you're named Coach of the Year in the GCAC. So in your previous seasons before this year, you got over 100 wins already in collegiate coaching. How would you describe how you've made the transition seem so easy to go from Lanier High School, Oak Grove High School, and you made the transition now to college? It's a piece of cake for you.
Yeah, well, because the reason is because I always worked it hard.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, if you're coaching basketball, it might be at a different level, but it's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little, it changed a little bit, but the hard work never stopped. And, you know, my first year there, we went 13 and 14, I believe. But after that year, I just had to get used to the kids and college kids and stuff like that. And, you know, because it was a little change in coaching difference. So that's what took me that first year.
In 2018, you're inducted into the Mississippi Association of Coaches Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That had to be a proud moment for you.
That was a big moment. You know, Johnny Mim told me we had it at the Hilton. He told me myself and 4 other coaches was there also.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a sellout. He told me there was more people that ever been at a Hall of Fame, Coaches Hall of Fame in high school.
A lot of Lanier fans.
Oh, hey, it was packed. It was packed with Lanier fans.
I mean, and I got to think in that moment that you're reflecting back to those days working in Winston County, the hard work and all that went into it. I mean, your career's far from over, but to be in the Hall of Fame, to win all the games you've won, you know, I'm sure you've reflected on those times back in Winston County often.
Oh, I did. And, you know, right now, I'm not finished yet. I think I feel good. My health is okay. And I think I want to put in at least 6 or 7 more years. So I'm not going to stop working. You know, sometimes I don't get the talent, but if you don't get the talent, you just still got to work. You got to work. Good thing will happen for you.
You've coached so many great players and sent players to the NBA, sent players overseas. What are the traits that Coach Thomas Billups looks for in a player that says, all right, I can work with that? What are the traits you're looking for in somebody?
Okay. When I first, when I have a trial for basketball, I always look at a kid that comes in and just work his butt off and just hustle. And I don't mainly look at the shooting, whether he can shoot. I just look at whether he can dribble and can he run. Because I'm a defensive mind coach. I love for you to make some basket too, but I'm a defensive minded coach, and that's how we won all our championship with defense.
So as long as they can run,
long as they can run, and long as they can dribble, and I know if they can run, I can teach them how to play defense.
I love that. I was expecting like a long list, and I just got like a couple of things there.
Yeah.
I like that. You've impacted so many people. Former student athlete of yours, Alex McCaskill,
right,
was on hard times.
Oh, yeah.
And didn't have anywhere to go. You helped him out, not just with a place to stay, but kind of help him get his business started.
All right, yeah.
You still help so many of your former students. Where does that come from to still help them?
Well, I was just like my mom. She always helped people, and she always told me, if you got something, always share it. God gonna bless you. And that's where I got it from.
I gotta ask, because I've been joking with you about the phone conversations I've had with friends that have covered high school athletics, and they're like, oh, so you're interviewing Coach Billups? Oh, yeah. Is he mean? I'm like, no, he's like one of the nicest guys ever. And they're like, I've watched him coach some games. He seems pretty intense. And I'm like, he couldn't be a nicer guy. And you are really laid back. Every phone conversation we've had, you're so laid back. So when you're not coaching, when you're not recruiting, when you're not doing interviews with goofballs like me, what do you do to just kind of relax and chill out? What's your go-to?
You know, my wife get on me all the time. I'm always working.
Yeah.
I probably sleep maybe about 5 or 6 hours a night, but I works around the house all the time. She used to tell me, "Won't you sit down sometime?" Mm-hmm. I said, "Well, work got to be done. If you could live in a house, you got to keep it up." Mm-hmm. So, and let me tell you another story about what you just mentioned about. And and the kids, one day, we was at Lanier High School, and they were janking my daughter and my son, TJ and Shaughnessy. My other son went to Mississippi Valley. He went to Louisville High School. Mm-hmm. He said, how y'all live with y'all daddy? He's so mean. And my son and my daughter say, he's not mean to us. He's one of the best dads that you ever can find. Mm. So that made me so proud of them, because they knew, you know, they knew then that I cared about all those other kids, and I treat them the same way I treated them. The kids that I coached, I treat them the same way I treated my own kids.
Do you think that persona that you've got on the floor, you mentioned your teacher, math teacher, coach earlier, guy you wanted to be like, do you think you get that from him and kind of mimic that on the floor?
You know what? You're right, I did. But where I got, like I just said about my mom, my high school coach wouldn't let nobody drive his car except me. He would let me go pick up his sons and drive them to school and stuff like that, go pick them up. He wouldn't let anybody drive his car but me. So I said that to say, when you show kids that you care about them, he showed me that he cared about me, and I've never forgotten that. And he's still living right now, and I always think about him all the time.
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network.
When life is unpredictable, choose Express Care Summerall to get the medical help you need. We're the only clinic in Summerall open 7 days a week. We also offer the convenience of drive-through accessibility and walk-ins with no appointment necessary. Our nurse practitioners Sarah Dawn Locke and Kobe Smith welcome you to our location on Highway 42 next to Fox's Pizza. Find your new primary care provider, Express Care Summerall, where your health care matters.
Family owned and operated since 1986, Lakeside Molding has become the trusted source of architectural products throughout the South. They offer fine interior architectural moldings, custom millwork, and cabinet doors designed and handcrafted in Flowwood. Their showroom on Lakeland Drive is stocked with today's most sought-after interior details, including corbels, post, fireplace mantles, bath vanities, mirrors, and much more. Tim Shoemaker and his staff work closely to meet client needs for new construction, restoration, and remodeling projects. Lakeside Molding, where details make the difference.
Wendy's is open until midnight or later, so come get that Baconator.
Give me one honk if you want a Baconator.
Hey, give me 2 honks if you want Tyler to make it.
Dude.
Go night mode. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Baconator.
Quality of life is about lifelong care. Your family's health care is important to you, and that's important to us. King's Daughters Medical Center is here for your family in every stage of life, from the excited new parents, adolescent and teen years, to the big day. Walking alongside of you in life's journey, living a healthier life. KDMC, caring for our community like no one else can.
There's your biggie bag. All that food for $5, right. That's my go-to.
Ooh, that's my ride or die.
Just like you and me. Bag boys. Bag boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
You can always bet on Biggie, and now earn free food when ordering on the Wendy's app.
For those on the go, we give you Audibles with Jason Scarborough, the podcast.
What are we listening to? Are we listening to a playlist? Are we listening to a podcast?
What a great question.
Listen to our intimate interviews with guests on your favorite podcast platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Music, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and so many more.
Do you ever look back and say, my life, the story could have ended up differently had it not been for your grandparents?
Incredibly different, for sure.
Plus, you'll hear behind-the-scenes commentary on each guest, interview preparation, location, and so much more from Jason himself.
Do you have a favorite Coach Bowden story that you can share with us?
I can tell you this, what you see with Bobby Bowden is what you get.
Check out Audibles with Jason Scarborough, the podcast, on any of these popular podcast locations and hit subscribe, download, and enjoy. Now, back to the show.
So I love this question, and the Warren brothers love this question too when I get to ask it. What are we listening to if we get in the car or truck? I'm always curious because people are different in the flavors of music they enjoy, the genres, podcasts. Some people don't listen to anything. So if I hop in the car, we just say, hey, we're going to go grab a burger. And what's coming on the car radio or stereo if we hop in right now?
If you hop in my car, I probably got my phone now because I got it loaded down with Bobby Blue Bland.
Okay.
Tyrone Davis.
Okay. I know what Tyrone.
B.B. King.
Yeah.
All of them. I probably got my earplugs in on my phone listening to it. Just listen to blues. All that other rap, I don't listen to it.
So you're a blues guy.
I'm a blues guy.
Who's the best blues singer ever?
B.B. King.
Who's second?
Bobby Blue Bland.
I obviously have to ask who's third now.
Albert King.
He's not missing a beat. And all of those are on your phone?
All of them on my phone.
Every single one of them?
Every single one of them.
You've been married to your sweet wife, Miss Sandra, for 46 years now?
46.
What is the Coach Billups playbook for a long, healthy, successful marriage?
I tell you what, if you had a wife like I got, she is the backbone of my family. One of the smartest ladies you ever gonna find. If I don't know something, I'm gonna ask her first. And if I don't know how to do something, I ask her what she think. I'm gonna ask her first before I ask anybody.
She knows.
She knows. I'll tell you. And I was so bad until I met her in high school. I was real bad. Like I said now, I met her in high school. She was in the 11th grade. I met her, and she my high school sweetheart. Right now, I married her. And that's what changed my life.
So you guys have 3 children, 6 grandchildren. Your son TJ has some time at Mississippi State playing ball.
Yeah.
Do we see any future athletes among the grandchildren? Do we see any?
Yeah, we got, my daughter got, she got a son and a little boy. I mean, a daughter and a little son. My granddaughter, cheerleader, softball, basketball. My grandson, bow, football, baseball. I mean, they really hard. And TJ's son, he got twins that one play football, one play basketball, and the other, the girl is the cheerleader. And his oldest son, TJ, He's a junior at Morehouse College in Atlanta.
So we might have some athletes that will be to be determined.
Right.
Might have some athletes there.
Yeah.
How do you think, we hear all the time kids have changed, you know, with the day and time we live in.
Right.
Coaches are trying to figure out, should they change their coaching style? How do they adapt? How do you perceive that? Is it that kids have changed, or have adults, as adults changed?
I think kids change, but Coach Billups not going to change. I don't want too many games. And if it's not broke, I'm not going to try to fix it. But I'm not going to change my coaching style. The kid just going to have to buy into me. If they don't buy in with me, then, you know, they probably going to go to some other school or don't play for me. But the one that does, good things happen to them.
I always like asking people this question because I want to know for my own purposes, you know, if there's something I can learn from it. How do you deal with criticism? Criticism is a part of any job.
Go through this ear and come out that one.
Don't even listen to it.
I don't even listen to it.
So you don't do the whole social media thing?
I don't do it. I don't get out there. I don't do any of that. They can talk, say what they want to say. Good things or bad things. I don't even worry about it. I don't even, you know, listening to it. I just know what Thomas Billups got to do.
So you're not on social media at all, are you?
At all.
I kind of wish you'd get a Twitter, if you want to know the truth. I think that'd be entertaining.
Well,
so no chance that you get no Twitter?
No chance.
No chance.
No chance. I don't even like, really, I don't even like anybody FaceTiming me but my grandkids.
I've got to ask, so you're the youngest of 14 kids growing up in Winston County. I think you were telling me you were the first to attend college, is that right?
The first to finish high school.
To finish high school and attend college. What do you think a young Thomas Billups growing up in Louisville, Winston County, what do you think he would think of all that you've accomplished? When you look at all that you've come from, all the hard work, what do you think a young Thomas Billups thinks of everything you accomplished?
Back then, like I said, I got it from my mom and my dad. You know, people always say what you can't do and what you can do. And I always remember my mom tell me, you can do anything you want to do. But back then, I always wanted to work hard because that's how I got up. And I didn't want anybody to give me anything. I always wanted to work for what I got. And I think that's what changed me there. You work hard to get what you get.
Thank you for your time. I've been wanting to do this for a long time and followed your career for a long time. Always been a fan of yours, and enjoyed sitting down with you joining us for Audibles. I really appreciate it, and I hope we can do it again sometime.
Oh, yeah, anytime. You know, like I said, hey, I love talking about my past because it makes me feel really good because a lot of people say I couldn't do it. And that's, you know, that's what motivated me.
And you're still doing it.
Still doing it. And, you know, you mentioned something about Mississippi Coaches Hall of Fame. I want to go higher than that.
Wow.
I want to go to, what is the Hall of Fame out there on Lakeland. I want to get in there. And I'm going to keep working until I get there.
I like your chances. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I'm going to go on the record as saying I like your chances.
That's what got me started then. It was a motivation for me.
When he said that to you, that's what started that fire.
That's what started that fire to me when he said, Billups, you ain't gonna never be nothing. And I talked to him about that all the time. I told him, I said, God probably wanted you to say that to me to motivate me.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for another episode of Audibles with Jason Scarborough.